Hello everyone, welcome back to Chinmoy's Biology channel. So today we are here with a brand new episode of reproduction in plants. So today we will be discussing about mainly the asexual mode of reproduction in plants, and in the next class we will be dealing about the sexual mode of reproduction. So let's get started without further delay, and don't skip the lesson in between because it is going to be a very interesting class today. So let's get started. So what are the learning objectives of today's lesson? So by the end of this lesson, we will understand about what are modes of reproduction. We will today study only the asexual part of reproduction, that is budding, fragmentation, spore formation and vegetative propagation. And the sexual reproduction, it will be in the next class. Okay, so asexual reproduction first, we will start with the vegetative propagation. Then we will come to budding, fragmentation and spore formation. Sexual reproduction we will deal in the next class. So for that you need to stay tuned to my lessons and subscribe to my channel, because whenever I am putting the update on sexual reproduction part, you will get the pop-up and you can complete that full part of this lesson. Okay, so let's get started with today's part. So let us start with today's lesson of reproduction in plants. So first we need to understand that what is reproduction. So the production of new individuals from their parents is known as reproduction. So but how do the plants reproduce? There are different modes of reproduction in plants which we shall learn in this chapter. So what are the modes of reproduction? So when a certain new individual is produced from a parent, that process is called reproduction. Okay, so what are the modes of reproduction? So most of the plants have roots, stems and leaves. We all know that if it is a plant, it is having root, stem and leaves. So these are the vegetative parts of the plant. But after a certain period of growth of the plant, they bear flowers, and from these flowers they bear fruit. So if you see a mango plant, you can see mango trees, you can see they are flowering in the spring, and these flowers give rise to juicy mango fruit that we enjoy during the summertime. So we eat the fruits and usually they discard the seeds. Okay, so seeds germinate and form the new plants again. Okay, so what is the function of flowers in plants? Flowers are actually the reproductive parts, and these leaves, stems and roots are the vegetative parts of the plant. So there are ways by which plants produce their offspring. These are categorized into two types: asexual and sexual reproduction. Okay, so in asexual reproduction, plants can give rise to new plants without seeds. Okay, whereas in sexual reproduction, new plants are obtained from seeds. Is it clear? So in asexual reproduction, plants are growing without seeds, whereas in sexual reproduction, it is growing from seeds. So it is clear to all of you. Now Paheli, she had a question in her mind that she knew that always plants will grow from seeds. So she didn't have an idea that without seeds also plants like sugarcane, potato and rose, they don't have seeds, but they give rise to new plants, or rather they can reproduce. How? Okay, so that is asexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, new plants are obtained without the production of seeds. So in first there comes vegetative propagation. So what is that? It is the type of asexual reproduction in which new plants are produced from roots, stems, leaves and buds. So these roots, stems, leaves and buds are, we have told here that they are the vegetative parts. So when new plants are growing from vegetative parts, that is called vegetative propagation. Okay, so let us move on to this activity down here to prove and see what is vegetative propagation. So now in activity 8.1, we can see that we are cutting a branch of rose or a champa with a node. So if this is the branch with one node, we are cutting that, and this piece of branch is termed as a cutting, and bury the cutting in a soil and a node is in a part of a stem or a branch at which a leaf arises, and we are daily watering it for growth. So after a few days, what we will observe, so we will see some roots are coming out. See, we have new leaves have arise from that, and try the same activity for growing money plant in a jar of water, or record your observation. So if you cut this node part and you place it in a pot, so you will see that there is a bud in that. So bud and axillary part is there. So you have seen flower buds developing into flowers. So if we are cutting and we are putting this plant into another pot or another soil, from that new leaves will come out. Okay, so that part, like this, you can create new parts of a plant. That is, new parts will be reproduced in this method, that is called cutting. Okay, so apart from flower buds, there are buds in the axil, that is point of attachment of a leaf at a node. So this is a bud at the axil, or this is called an axillary bud, where the leaf is attaching the node. There also one bud is there. So this is the axillary bud, okay, which develop into shoots, and these buds are called vegetative buds, because we are studying about vegetative propagation, right? So these are called vegetative buds, and a bud consists of a short stem around which immature overlapping of leaves are present, and vegetative buds can also give rise to new plants. Now we will move on to the next activity, where we will be dealing with the eyes which are present in a potato. Now in this activity 8.2, what you can do, you can take a fresh potato. So you all are having potato at home. So observe the scars on it with the help of a magnifying glass. So if you observe a potato, you will see certain scars like this are present on the potato. Okay, so you observe those with a magnifying glass. These scars are called eyes of a potato. Now cut the potato into small portions, each with an eye, and bury them in soil. So each potato what you are cutting out should have one eye in each part, and you are just burying them in soil. Now water these pieces regularly for a few days and observe what you find. You will see likewise that some plants will grow out from these potato eyes. So likewise you can also grow turmeric and all. Okay, so Bryophyllum, it's a sprout leaf plant, has buds in the margins of the leaf, and if the leaf of the plant falls on a moist soil, each bud can give rise to new plant. Okay, so this is the ginger plant. Ginger also with you can see that with new plants sprouting from it, from the eye part, new plants will come out. So they are sprouting from this plant. And now Bryophyllum, I'll show you how the leaf look like, and they are having buds in their margins. If the leaf of the plants fall on the soil, they'll give rise to another new plants. Okay, so roots of some plants can also give rise to new plants, like sweet potato and dahlia. If you plant their roots into another pot, you will get new plants of dahlia and sweet potato. Now plants such as cacti, plants which when their parts get detached from the main body, each detached part can grow into a new plant. So just now we were talking about this Bryophyllum. So Bryophyllum is called a sprout leaf plant, okay, which is having buds in the margin. So how does it look like? See here. This is a Bryophyllum plant. They are having buds in their leaf margin, and once it falls into the soil, new plants are formed from these buds only. Okay, so this is how new plants grow from leaves, from the stem. So and from the stem and from the roots as well. Okay, so these are all vegetative methods of propagation. So is it clear to all of you? Now plants produced by vegetative propagation takes time to grow and bear flowers, fruits earlier than those produced from seeds. The new plants are exact copies of the parent plant, because it is a method of vegetative propagation. It will take much lesser time to grow and bear fruits and flowers, and The plants are exactly the same copy. There is no variation. Single parent plant and the offsprings produced are similar. So later in this chapter, we will learn about sexual reproduction of plants as well. Now we will move on to budding. Now it comes to budding. So we all know about yeast, which is seen under microscope, and it is a microscopic organism. So these grow and multiply every few hours if sufficient nutrients are made available to them. So yeast is a single-celled organism. So let us see how they reproduce. Now in this activity, we will see how yeast is reproduced. It is a single-celled organism. It is a microscopic organism. So take a piece of yeast cake or yeast powder. Yeast powder is easily available in your grocery store. So you just take it from a grocery or a bakery shop and take a pinch of yeast and place it in a container with some water. Now add a spoonful of sugar and shake it to dissolve it. Keep it in a warm part of a room. So what will happen after an hour? Put a drop of this liquid in a glass slide and observe under a microscope. So if you are observing under a microscope, what you will observe? You will see formation of new yeast cell. So this is a yeast cell. From this developing, bud is developing, new bud is developing, and there are chain of buds developing from the yeast cell, and this buds will separate from this main parent yeast and they'll form new buds. So this is the reproduction process of yeast, and this method is called budding. Okay, so what is it called? It is called budding. So the small bulb-like projection coming out from the yeast cell is called a bud, and the bud gradually grows and gets detached from the parent. So it will gradually grow and it gets detached from the parent and forms a new yeast cell. So the new yeast cell grows, matures and produces more yeast cells, and sometimes another bud arises from the bud to form a chain. So you have seen here chain is formed, and in this process a large number of yeast cells can be produced in a short time. So this is called the budding part. So budding in yeast, it is very important, and this is also a vegetative method of propagation. It is actually, we can say, from it is not a sexual method, it is an asexual method of propagation. And in this next part we will be dealing with the fragmentation method. Now we have come here to fragmentation. So you might have seen that slimy green patches in pond. So these are stagnant water bodies, right? So these are algae. What are these? These are algae, and these are the stagnant water bodies. So when water and nutrients are available, these algae grow, multiply and rapidly by the process of fragmentation. So what is happening here? The algae breaks up into two or more fragments. So this is an algae, and when it is breaking into two or more fragments, each fragment will give rise to a new individual. So these individual pieces grow into new individuals, and this process continues over a large area in a short period of time. Again, what will happen? Again, they will divide and they'll form new one. Again, each individual will divide and form new one. So this keeps on forming, and this process is called fragmentation. So after fragmentation, we'll come to the last one in today's topic of discussion in asexual reproduction, that is spore formation. So in chapter 1, you have already learned that fungi on a bread piece grows from spores which are present in the air. So from where do these spores come from? The spores come from air. So observe the spores in the cotton-like mesh on the bread, and when spores are released, they keep floating in air. So as they are very light, they can cover long distances. So spore formation, it is also we can say that reproduction through spore formation in fern. This is a fern leaf, right? So this here spore forming bodies are here on the leaves of this fern, and in this fern the process of reproduction is through spore formation. So spores are actually asexual reproductive bodies, and each spore is covered by a hard protective coat to withstand unfavorable conditions such as high temperature and low humidity. So they can survive for a long time under favorable conditions. A spore germinates and develops into a new individual. Plants such as moss and ferns, they also produce by means of spore. So this spore formation on bread we have seen through spores. They form a meshwork and the spores are formed and they keep on we will say that these are cottony mesh like things on the bread. So that is a spore formation when the breads get spoiled. Okay, so what are the parts of a spore? If these are spores, this hard outer covering is the sporangium and this base is called the hypha. So what is happening on that bread actually, we say when it is spoiled, we say that fungus is formed on the bread. So that fungus, how it is formed? It is formed with the help of the method of reproduction is spore formation. So spores are formed on the bread, that is fungus itself, and hypha, it is the base part. This is the sporangium and these are the spores. So this is all about the asexual reproduction as per your 7th curriculum what you are having. So in next episode we will be discussing about the sexual reproduction in plants. So till then you should subscribe to my channel, stay tuned, stay updated with all the episodes I am posting, and please don't skip the lessons in between. Watch till the end of the video so that you can understand the full lesson. So till then wait for the next lesson which will be coming very soon, that is sexual reproduction in plants, where I'll be teaching about the reproductive parts, about pollination in flower, what all is there as per your curriculum. We will also discuss about the process of fertilization, seed dispersal. We'll discuss about fruits and seed formation in plants as well. So stay tuned, stay updated with all the lessons. Thank you. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.